Hey, Ken from Tanning Bed Repair Guide. Why can you save a ton of money on cleaning? That's because that it will prevent your equipment from breaking down. And let me tell you why. There's of course the obvious reason why you will clean is the air quality in around the tanning equipment. And of course the aesthetics, making it inviting to the client to come in, you know, that it's all taken care of for them. I mean, who doesn't like a clean environment when you need to get undressed? But for as a technician like me, those two things are like, well, you know, I can kind of live with that. But technically, what happens is two major things. And basically, they'll come back to the same thing, which is that you'll heat up the equipment if you don't clean it. So on the bigger equipment, you will typically have, well, let's make a tanning bed here. Boom, boom, boom. Big thing. It's closed just for the ease of me drawing this out. Some kind of an emblem there. Pretty, huh? Anyway, so down here, you will typically have some kind of intake filters, right? In the back, typically, you will have some kind of fans that's like pulling air through the machine, and they're hauling it from here. And so in the end, it's going to exhaust it out, some kind of venting system up here, and at least lead it away from the tanning bed, preferably all the way out. And we'll get back to that about venting. I'll do another video on that. There's a lot of interesting things in regards to that as well in terms of heating problems. Now, so these filters will be are there to prevent dust from building up on particularly electronics. Because what happens on the piece of electronic is that the dust is going to lay down on the surface and create an insulator. And the still standing air that's going to be trapped in between all these dust particles is going to help, it's going to really make a good insulator. So that means that all these components that's on here are going to be hotter and hotter and hotter. And that's something that electronics don't like. That they also have an amount of hours that they work in. It's a very long period of time, thousands of hours, but they're going to be heavily reduced if you heat them up like this. Another really bad thing is that if you then have air conditioning in the salon, and you think that, well, you know, I run the salon very cool, so that, you know, that will compensate for me not cleaning these filters. It can be so bad that you'll actually start to create incredibly cool down and heat up and cool down and heat up. That's also incredibly unhealthy for this equipment. So insulating, and that also goes for the lamps, your lamp life is heavily dependent on if you get them wiped down once in a while. At least, I will say, once a month on the surface, for sure. On a reflective lamp, that's fine that you don't clean it on the back side. It will be better, but definitely the areas that's radiating the light. Okay, so, but anyway, so you're hauling in air through these filters, and so that's great that they're preventing this to happen, you know. For the most, it's keeping this away. You'll still need to do some internal cleaning, but you'll need to do it less when you have internal filters like these. But what if you don't clean them? Then resistance is going to start to build up. So it's going to be harder and harder and harder for this machine to pull air through, and that's going to set down the level of flow through the machine. That means that for every air particle that comes by, it will need to have more heat with it. It's just going to cool down way less from this phenomenon. And so that's why that you really need to keep these spick and span as much as you can by cleaning them. I mean, if you run a busy salon and you have a hardwood floor or a concrete floor that doesn't have any carpeting or any kind, which is great for cleanliness, but the thing is, this acts like a giant vacuum, and so you will have this. You'll need to clean these filters far more than if you had carpet. So that's super important to keep these clean. So you might have to do it every week, but it will just maintain the equipment for much longer. It's gonna make it perform better. Something like acrylics, your acrylic surfaces inside, which is typically very expensive on the bigger equipment to have this kind of filtering. When they heat up, cool down, it works like a tempering of it, and that makes it brittle. And that creates all these fine line cracks that eventually turns into this spider web looking kind of action going on inside of it. And that's a typical cause of these huge temperature changes. So AC won't help you here on keeping this equipment last longer. Airflow does. So that's why you clean them. Not just aesthetics, not just the environment and the customer's experience of that. Those are important, very important too. But this will make the equipment probably last 3 times longer than if you don't. Maybe even 4. Ken from 10-Bit Repair Guide. Take care.